Some
What is this about big tech buying up renewable energy?
Right. So, data centers consume, to put it lightly, an absolutely ridiculous amount of power, right? And the usage of data is only increasing. So you have people like Amazon, Facebook, Google, Microsoft, Alphabet, uh, going out and saying, okay, we are going to need to consume a tremendous amount of electricity, but we want to push into cleaner renewable energy sources. So what you're seeing is, for instance, Amazon announced commitments to buy about 1.5 gigawatts of production capacity from 14 new solar wind plants around the world, with the goal to cover all of their operations with renewable energy by 2025. So, and that's a goal of a lot of these other companies, not to be fully, but they're working towards becoming fully powered by renewable energy sources, and they're using all the cash and all their assets on their balance sheet to fund these projects, which interestingly enough, a lot of these projects that are being funded, two major points are: A, if these companies weren't making these commitments and funding these projects, they may not exist. And two, B, the amount of money being spent by these companies on these projects is actually being looked at as more valuable than state or government subsidies. So you're literally seeing people go to other countries and saying, yeah, we will pay for your project to build. It's going to be worth more than the subsidy you get from your country, and we're going to have a lot of demand. So we're literally bringing, capital to you and saying, we're going to help basically fund this entire thing. And then you're going to be our partner. We're going to buy from you and take that commitment, and we're going to get renewable energy. Because the trick here is to make sure the renewable energy they get is not just using existing supply or just adding more production capacity to the limit. They have to make sure it actually is clean and renewable, right? The whole thing has to be. That's the point, because otherwise you're just adding more to the system. It kind of defeats their target there. So it's definitely very, very interesting. Google is even trying to aim to do this hour by hour, meaning they're going to manage their entire power grids and figure out a way to, at what points in the network, of current, that they need to add in different renewable energy sources, that the grid is being powered by the majority of renewable energy, both when it's in heavy use and when it's not in heavy use. So they're looking by hour to literally do this very, very granularly. So you're seeing a very big push into this theme here. And some of the drivers include 5G, working from home, and pretty much everything is data driven. So in a data driven information era world, the amount of electricity needed to keep all these data centers online as we expand them is growing, and these companies are starting to buy renewable energy so they can put themselves in that market and be able to keep their centers up and running. Facebook said it's already reached its goal of buying enough energy to power its global operation, including its data centers. But it will continue to look for more opportunities to buy to prepare for future growth. And this is interesting. In 2020, Facebook's power consumption grew by 40%. So that probably makes sense, being that everyone was kind of locked at home on the internet. And Microsoft also says it has deals in the wings that, even though it hasn't announced them yet, when it does, it will make them one of the biggest energy buyers in the entire world. So big tech is looking, and not only looking, but funding, not just investing, not just committing, funding these projects to grow them so they can power their networks and their data centers and their assets on renewable energy. So definitely very, very interesting. Not only for the tech companies, but for the people that are receiving the capital and actually on the receiving end of this. And not only for the whole industry. And what this means is probably a driving force to get people inspired to make these kinds of things, because they know tech companies are going to spend lots of money to help us make this project. We will go out and pitch these things. And I could imagine seeing more companies that are going to be working specifically in renewable energy into the future. Definitely, for sure.
I mean, I remember we were talking a couple days ago about renewable energy and what it would take for Texas in order to be able to handle the large. I mean, they're saying, hey, crypto miners, come over here to Texas. And we're here thinking like your guys' capability of creating energy and sustaining that is abysmal. You guys are suffering right now. And to say that you want to take on such a mountain, like taking on cryptocurrencies and mining, if big tech companies are coming up against this, is this going to create a problem for state use utilities?
Possibly. I don't know. I mean,
this
because of the same.
this really goes to the corporations like PG&E or whatever electrical company is actually going to take on this kind of feat over here. So, for Texas, they have these these either higher rates in which they say, hey, you either get paid for what you use, or you could be on this variable plan where you're going according to the time of day and energy consumption, per hour of when the most energy is being used, and that's a lower rate, so you pay lower rates. That's what most of the Texans opted in for. So and then out of nowhere, the grid went down, power consumption was needed, demand went up, that they understood supply was necessary, and they raised the price.
And that's
Raised their price
they took the hit.
significantly.
and that's where you look at, this is completely down to energy is only made not according to demand. It's made consistently, but demand may shift according to either season, period, or whatever's going on in the state, like a natural disaster. And so,
Well, and to answer your question about utility companies, remember that there are big green plan initiatives, and there already are government subsidies and government tax benefits to companies who do change parts of their network into solar, wind, into cleaner, more renewable energy. So I don't know how much of an effect this will have against renewable countries, because most of these commitments are not actually on American soil. They're actually in other countries around the world. So it's pretty interesting. But I think utility companies will continue to evolve their business model as far as they can, because they're a lot of them are heavily regulated, so they're kind of subject to the state. So if the government keeps funding it,
that's where we need to kind of put into perspective that this is a race between advanced technology and keeping up the supply of electricity necessary for these advanced technologies. Mm-hmm. And that's where renewable energy, everyone's looking for advancements in this renewable energy and trying to get a leg up so that we are ready for more advanced technology. I mean, 40% boost in Google for electric consumption. Facebook. That's still crazy, and it's just going to be getting higher throughout every year.
Sometimes I think our development of technology and uses of data is going to outpace our ability to maintain the networks providing them.
Shut your mouth. I will be there, standing tall. Standing
excuse me, Mr.
tall.
China. All right, excuse me, China.
Here to provide the power needed for all technology to strive to
guys,
the moon.
I'm waiting for fusion. I'm waiting for graphene. I'm waiting for all these big tech to come out in mass production, so that we can actually get some, free energy.
I'm excited for all the third world countries and all the miners who are going to die in the mines for these dreams. Be like, oh no, what happened in Chile? That's a shame. But we got all that lithium, right? All right, we'll just cover that up real quick.
Oh shit!
Gotta come from somewhere. Someone's got to do it, and I can promise you, there ain't gonna be well-to-do people down there with pickaxes mining that shit.
I mean, that's real talk.